Well, I have to say that unfortunately the first trailer, full trailer for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker just dropped. And I hate to report the fact that the spoilers, the leaks that we all talked about and are all over the internet are absolutely true. This film's going to be a train wreck. I'm going to talk about some screenshots and walk you through some of it. Minor spoilers. I will give a full spoiler thing tomorrow. But until then, I just got to talk about this right now. And unfortunately, depressingly, we're going to start right now. Hi, I'm Kyle. Welcome to my channel where we take culture, TV, and movies and we filter it right. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. Now, if you can tell by my strong and really up-tempo and really exciting demeanor, I am just incredibly excited about this trailer. And no, I'm not. As you know, this trailer, while the visuals were not bad, I know, unfortunately, what is going to go down in these particular scenes and the disjointedness in this film that's going to happen in December is just going to be very unsatisfying. And there are a lot of rumors out there now about multiple reshoots, that they're going to have 75% of it redone, which I don't fully believe. I think Disney is panicking somewhat. I think they do feel the pressure that they have to make this film such that almost everybody has to like it, because they have to get their money back from the billions of dollars that they paid out to George Lucas for the franchise. We know that toy sales are down, and we know that the park attendance is down on both coasts. And it's just a situation that Disney just needs to salvage this as best as possible. And if this film, which I think it will be, is a train wreck, it's going to cut that plan to shreds. They're going to have some sort of semblance of a film that's going to make people want to go out, spend the money on toys, go to the parks, and look forward, most importantly, to future projects. Unlike Game of Thrones, who's pretty much just alienated all of their fans off that last horrible season, and Star Wars does not want to do that. So, what I want to talk about real quickly is I don't talk about Star Wars a lot on this channel, but I do want to talk about where I'm coming from here. I don't know if you see, I have Darth Vader right here. I am a huge Star Wars fan, or I would say I was a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a huge Star Wars fan of the original trilogy, and in fact, I even like the prequels, especially now. Attack of the Clones was probably one of the weaker ones, but looking back on it, at least Attack of the Clones told a story. The Phantom Menace told a story. It was boring and it was disjointed and the acting was spotty, but it told a narrative that fit all the way into the last one, which was Revenge of the Sith, which was the best of all three. Now, we talked a lot about those prequels. We talked about how the prequels were just the worst. And I know there are some YouTube channels out there that basically gave it a hard time. There's some YouTubers that gave it a hard time. But you know what? These comments, these videos just aren't aging very well, because the sequels are so much worse. I really enjoyed the first one, episode 7, what was that? Now I'm drawing a blank on it. I see how bad it is. I can't even remember the name of the film. The Force Awakens, right? Yes, so The Force Awakens. So I enjoyed that film. I gave it its due. I cut it some slack because it was trying to bring new generation in and take us down on a trip to memory lane and trying to get us to feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and you know that we're back in it and that we're going to have 2 more great films. But of course, then you have The Last Jedi, which I initially thought was a good film until I sat back and thought about what they did to Luke and what they did to the different characters and the social justice warrior agenda, the identity politics agenda, the mishandling of characters, making them totally clowns, mostly the men, mostly clowns, downplaying characters that they put on the ads as being one thing and then just totally not using them. Also, taking Luke and making him into a just total pansy. I mean, and then just throwing all of the narrative away of the first film, making that this next film, this the ninth film, this last one, to be almost an impossible task where he has to, in terms of J.J. Abrams, that's the director, has to put all of it together, not having all of the stuff that he put into the first one even accessible, because all that stuff that was in the first film, all that questions about Rey's parents and about, who was the Knights of Ren and who was the connection with Han and Luke and with Kylo, how that fit in, all that stuff was not answered, and it was just a situation where that was all thrown away in The Last Jedi, and now we're stuck with this film. So, with no further ado, I'm going to go through some of these slides and walk through them. And so, let's just do this here really quickly. This is the first slide. So, the film starts off, or the trailer starts off in the woods. We see Rey running through the jungle. We see here, there's some sort of, I guess that's a helmet there. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to get into the specifics on what I think this is until I get into my full hour-long spoiler edition tomorrow, where I go through the entire film as we know it and try and piece together the current trailer and how that fits in, so that I can prepare everybody to my best of my ability to know what's coming down and how this plays into the full narrative, and how that this whole identity politics and all of this class warfare so much with this Mary Sue character alienating the characters of the old that we really loved, and how that's really, really bringing bringing the franchise down, where they basically took all the characters that the original movies brought up and that the original fans loved, and just totally mistreated them, and in a way that was unsatisfying. And this film, unfortunately, is not going to do that. It's not going to be to repair any of that. Many people were wondering if this film could be one that it could come out and say, hey, we're going to retcon some things, we're going to do some things, and we're going to bring it back, and we're going to fix the Last Jedi. But J.J. Abrams, in a press conference, basically said, nope, we're going to keep it the way it is. We're not going to mess with anything. We're just going to go forward, but we're going to make it right, or so he says. And I don't think, based on what I know, he's going to be able to do that. And so, with that, and by the way, I hope I'm wrong, because I feel that if I am, I will have a smile on my face. I'll be the first one to say, hey, I'm wrong on this. I'll be happy to say that. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case based on what we're seeing in the trailers and what we've known so far in the leaks. So, first scene is this, Rey running through the woods, and then we have a cut scene to I guess that's Rose Tico. Now, there's some controversy there, where she's being cut out from the merchandising, how that she's not a popular character, and how Disney is not be able to manufacture these merchandise enough to justify the lack of sales per that. So the thought here is that Rose Tico is going to be at a very, very limited part in this movie. And as far as I'm concerned, that's going to be a good thing, because I don't think she fit the movie very well. She had nothing to do. And so that's that. We'll see what happens with that, but I don't see her anywhere else in the trailer. And she's also being removed from all the merchandising and the posters and so forth, and just put in the background. And so there's a big thing on the internet, hashtag Where's Rose. So we'll see how that plays out. Next we have a clip of Chewie and Poe and Finn, and they're on some planet. It's a jungle planet. Again, this also correlates with what we know about the leaks. I won't talk about that, but they're together. They have a little bit of adventure there. And now we have a scene with Kylo coming up to Rey for a lightsaber battle through the actual, I guess that's a smoke or fog or whatever. I won't say the location quite yet. I'm not quite sure that yet. I think I know it, but I'm not going to say it. I think this could be in the third act, but I'm not positive what this act is, because they do have multiple engagements in this film. So I'm not sure which particular scene this particularly is. It may be the end of the movie, but I'm not sure. Okay. Now we have them again in the Falcon, and again, they're coming from that jungle planet, and well, actually, yeah, the jungle planet, and something else is going on, and I won't say what's happening here as well, but it is a big part of it. And I believe they're actually going to the location because, well, I won't spoil it, but after this particular scene, they are no longer together. All right, so here's that other scene where they're fighting. I believe, again, I'm not sure exactly where this location is. Not that it really matters. So this is going to be Rey and it's going to be Kylo fighting. And again, they have multiple fight scenes in this movie. Multiple fight scenes. And this is a scene with C-3PO. In the original trailer, or the teaser trailer, we saw him with red eyes. Well, this is after that, or right before that, before his eyes turn red. Something happens here. In the trailer, he says, "I'm seeing my friends for the last time." That has significant meaning. And this scene is an emotional scene, according to what we know. I'll leave it at that. And now this scene's pretty interesting. We have Rey and the masked Kylo taking down some object here. I'm not sure where this is. I will speculate tomorrow. Okay. And okay, so now we have this is going to be toward the end of the movie. This is going to be the fleet, and these are obviously Star Destroyers, and they are equipped with something that's going to do something. It's basically what J.J. Abrams does in all his films. He ramps stuff up and just multiplies it. You know, he takes a Death Star and he makes it 10 times bigger. He always ramps things up and just multiplies and makes it bigger. And so that's just what he does. And so there's no exception here. He's taking the last elements of Star Wars and ramping it up. And nothing original. He's just throwing more of them out there. And so this is supposed to be the climactic scene at the end where I guess I can say this, where Palpatine is trying to regain his stake in the universe. He's trying to regain his power, and he's using his fleet to help do that. I guess that's not really a spoiler there. I mean, considering we know Palpatine is in the movie. Okay, and so here we have Rey confronting Palpatine, we believe, and that's going to be all I'm going to talk about here. It goes back into the other. The closing credits and so forth. And so that pretty much is the trailer. That's what it looked like. I will cover it in detail as well as the actual spoilers that we know of. And there's been some changes to that as well. And even though on paper it seems like it could be an interesting film, from a Star Wars perspective, it's going to be a total nightmare because it's not going to be the tie loose ends up. It's forced. It's not satisfying. And it doesn't undo the things that The Last Jedi did. And I don't think Star Wars is going to be the same ever again. We will see what happens with the Mandalorian. But I'm hearing that that's also going to be a woke type thing going on there on Disney Plus. But we will see. And so with that, I just want to say, I don't like to bring Star Wars light into this, but because they're taking it in a direction that's so woke and so identity politics and so, it's just, and when they're taking political narratives and putting it into a story that doesn't need to have that and forcing it on people just so they can make a statement, that sacrifices the story and it alienates and it pretty much insults the fans in doing so. It's one thing if you can do it and make it work with a succinct narrative, but when you throw in an element of child labor. Well, they didn't even mention child labor, but if you throw in an element of animal rights and gambling and human corruption when it comes to corporations and businesses, defense contractors and so forth, that gray line, when you add that into a movie like Star Wars, which was never there before, it doesn't fit. People are turned off on it. They are tired of seeing their news, their Fox News, their CNN, their MSNBC displayed in their Hollywood movies. We want to get away. We want to escape. We want to go in a long time, far away, a long time ago. We want to do that, and we want to escape from reality for a little bit, at least for 2 hours, and then we can deal with it later. We don't want to be reminded of this stuff that we're dealing with, bombarded in this toxic environment that we're in today. And so with that, let me know if you think about this trailer. Did you like it? Do you like the effects? Do you think that the spoilers, if you know what they are going to be valid, correct? Or do you think they're just off totally? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like the content on this channel where we take culture, TV, and movies and we filter it to the right, let me know, and please hit like and subscribe and that bell icon, and please, by all means, share with your friends, because YouTube has changed the algorithm so that it no longer supports smaller channels. It really focuses on the big corporations, and so it's harder to find things. So it's more important if you share videos and if you just recommend them to your friends, more so than even subscribing, because ultimately it comes down to views and watch time. So with that, please have a good evening, and I hope you check out some videos I have right here.